Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. So, as Lori mentioned, I'm Rhonda Wiley. I'm the courseware business manager for ASCENT, and I'm joined today by Paul Burton, who is our director of product development. I know that some of you are very familiar with ASCENT, and some others are just getting to know us, so that's why you've joined us today. Our session this morning will give you an overview of who we are, our products and services, as well as an update on new releases and our development roadmap for the coming months. So, again, as Lori has mentioned, if you have questions along the way, please put those into the chat section, and we'll address those at the end. To get started here, I'm just going to give you a brief history of our business. We've been doing this for a very long time and initially developed training content for our own needs as part of an organization that offered courses for Autodesk, Bestow, and PTC software. As time went on, we recognized that other training centers had similar needs, but perhaps were not interested in making the time and resource investment to create that content. So we were able to tap into the talent of our subject matter experts / trainers who were already on staff, and we were able to combine that with our crack team of technical writers to bring you the courseware and the training products that you already see today. From there, we've grown through various partnerships, such as being an Autodesk authorized author publisher. We work very closely with Autodesk, in particular, in many capacities over the years, and 2 years ago, we were designated as a provider of Autodesk official training guides. Our training materials are now used by Autodesk training centers, corporations, schools, and individuals in over 60 countries worldwide. This next, we've got just some feedback here from some of our customers coming up here. You can see we deal with a variety of customers. On the next slide, we'll show you a brief sampling of the variety of customers and businesses that we work with day to day. So it's not just, a particular segment. Our customers are coming from all sectors. So the commercial arena, academic, we deal with all sizes of schools from high schools through to colleges, and the software channel partners, certainly. This is just a very small sampling of those customers. We've always prided ourselves on customer service, and part of that is developing, long-term relationships with our clients. Both Paul and I have been with the business for well over 16 years, and longevity is definitely representative of our team as a whole. So we're in it for the long haul, and we're definitely here to support you. So we're going to, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and he's going to give you some more insight into our products and what the development team has been up to lately.
Great. Thanks, Rhonda, and good day, everyone. As Rhonda mentioned earlier on, I'm the Director of Product Development for ASCENT, and what I'm going to do over the next few slides here is just give you a sampling of the material that our team of full-time instructional designers and technical writers are developing. We'll highlight some of the recent releases for the newest versions of the softwares that we work with, and give you some insight as to what's coming as well. To start off, I'm going to just pull up a couple of slides here for those who maybe aren't familiar with our training material or haven't had a chance to use it in the past, just to give you a sampling of how it's structured. On this slide here, I've got a couple of screenshots from a typical training guide. Some of the key features that we put into our books here, and you'll start to see for those who have used it in the past some new things here as well. One of the first things I'll highlight here is we start out each section with the learning objectives, so what we expect users to be able to do completing this section. So this is a sample here from our Inventor Introduction to Solid Modeling course for 2013. So this section, we expect them to be able to sketch a section, to create a rib, be able to select that section, and be able to add features such as draft and such on to that rib feature. So that's what we're going to focus on in here in this section. So again, we highlight what we expect them to be able to do following each section. We always present our material in terms of a procedure or process-based manner. So we'll give general steps for those of you that are instructors using our material. This is basically where you tell your students what you're going to tell them. So we give this summary up front, and then over on the next page here, you'll see we go into those details and provide a lot of background information, a lot of examples, screen captures to help explain. The other benefit to this is for the student who maybe is using this book to self-train, or also students that have gone to a training class, they have this now as a reference tool that they can refer back to time and time again as they're using the software and need a refresher, because it's got such a great amount of background and instructional information about the features and the topics that we're teaching in these books. And then on the third screen capture here, you'll see practice exercises. So our books are rich with opportunities for the students to practice and try out the topics and the features that we're presenting here. They get a chance to discover different aspects of it by doing it hands-on. The way we write our exercises is, again, using some objectives at the beginning of the exercises, and then we'll take them through tasks and steps. As they progress through the book or through the course, we'll start to peel back some of the instructions. So things that we cover at the beginning of the course that they do repetitively, which again helps with the retention of the material, we'll start to pull back some of those instructions. So it forces the students or the users of these books to remember what they learned earlier on, or to have to go back and look it up. And again, some of the benefit there is that's going to aid in the retention of what they're learning in this material. On the next slide here, a couple of other features you'll see. Within each chapter, we now add command summaries to the chapter. So this provides the student with a quick reference about all of the icons that they used in that chapter, so they can refer back to that to remember which icon created which feature. We provide chapter review questions. So again, whether you're using this as a self-study book or you're an instructor teaching this as a live class, these are a great review for the students learning the software, and it also gives the instructor a way to gauge their understanding of what was covered in that chapter. Another tool we put in here for the instructors is instructor tools, which include, for many of our courses, presentation slides that they can use that are directly related to the topics and content we put into our student guides. So you can use these presentation slides in combination with your demonstrations that you do, your whiteboarding that you do, and provide a variety of instructional techniques in the classroom to make sure that the students are gaining access to the knowledge here. So again, that's just a quick overview of what our material looks like, how it's structured for those that haven't seen it. Now in the next couple of slides, what I want to do is just go through some of the titles that we do have. I'm going to start with our Autodesk lineup for the 2013 version of that software. I'll go through the different categories here. And I'm going to start out with the general design, which includes all of our AutoCAD titles. And you can see the items that are shown here in the blue text are titles that we have released already. So we've had some of our 2013 titles out for over a month now since the software released in late March. You'll see our fundamentals and essentials beyond the basics level. One of the things I'm excited about with those titles is that we now have a metric-only version of those titles. We have a lot of international customers that have been providing that feedback to us recently, that they prefer to have exercises that deal directly with metric units. So we've heard that feedback, and in AutoCAD, as well as some of the others, as I'll mention as we go along, we've now included a metric-only version of those courses. Another addition for us recently is a version of our AutoCAD Essentials book in Latin American Spanish. So we released the 2012 version of that in March, and we'll be working on the 2013 version of that shortly. So we'll have, again, the Latin American version of our Essentials and Beyond the Basics courses coming up over the next few months. Next category is our building and architecture category, and in here you'll find our Revit titles. Again, in the blue text, you'll see the titles that we've released already. So our Revit Architecture Fundamentals and Structure titles are available, and you'll see, again, both of these available in imperial and metric units. So two separate volumes for each of those for those units. The next to come will be our Revit MEP Fundamentals course, which is under development now, and we hope to have out later this month. And following that, then you'll see some of our Level 2 courses, such as those shown here for things like BIM management, collaboration tools. Under structure, you see an advanced course that we have coming out later this year as well. And then finally at the top, you'll see AutoCAD Architecture, which we're hoping to have out around the August time frame. Again, as I'm going through here, if you do have any questions about any of the titles or anything that's coming, feel free to pop a question into the chat or the Q&A tools, and we'll make sure we cover that at the end of the sessions this morning. Next category is Civil and Geospatial, and then here is our Civil 3D titles. One that we are just about done with now is our Civil 3D Fundamentals course for 2013. We're hoping to have that out towards the end of this month. We're in the final stages of development on that one. Again, we'll have imperial and metric versions of that. Following right behind that will be our Civil 3D for Surveyors course, which we're hoping to have out in June. And then Map 3D will follow. And also under development right now is our Introduction to Plant Design for 2013. So this one is scheduled for release sometime in June. Again, you'll have an imperial version as well as a mixed metric version for plant design. Under the visualization review category, I have Navisworks Essentials, which we have slated for July release, and 3ds Max Design Fundamentals. Currently, we have that one set at September, but we're actually trying to get that in a little bit earlier. We realize there are a number of schools that want to be able to use that for their programs starting in the fall, so we're working hard to get that one updated and released prior to September, so sometime over the summer, so that's available for schools looking to use that title in the fall. Next category is data management, where our vault titles, the two at the top you see here, data management for Inventor users as well as Essentials. Both of these titles are in the final stages of development, so we're hoping to have those out within the next few weeks, and then we'll move right on into workgroup and collaboration and finally professional. So again, those titles all under development right now. And then the last category here under the Autodesk software is our manufacturing area, and this is where you'll find, among others, our Inventor titles. So again, we have a number of titles here that have been released already for 2013, those being our Introduction to Solid Modeling and Advanced Part Modeling. The next two that you see there, Advanced Assembly and Sheet Metal Design, both of those are in the final stages of development, so will be available in the next couple of weeks as well. Our Inventor titles have a combination of units in there, so we have metric and imperial units throughout the exercises. A couple of other titles you see up top here are AutoCAD Electrical Fundamentals, and we have two versions of that course, JIC and IEC, so depending on which standards you use for electrical design, we have two versions there. And then our AutoCAD Mechanical Essentials course, again with a combination of metric and imperial units, is available and released. Down at the bottom you'll see some of the more specialized titles here, Mold Flow and Simulation, Autodesk Simulation. The Simulation Multiphysics book is released, just released last week. And then the mechanical as well as the mold flow titles we're looking to have out later this year. So those are under development currently. With all of the Autodesk titles, what we started to do now in the 2013 version is make a reference to the Autodesk Professional Certification that any user can obtain. Autodesk has put out or published a list of topics and objectives that they address with their professional certifications. So what we've done throughout our training guides that relate to the different certifications is made reference to those topics and objectives right in the training guide. So anywhere or any section that we cover content related to any of those certification topics and objectives, we'll make a note of those on the side here. So if you are using any of this material, again, self-study or attending a training class as preparation for obtaining your certification through Autodesk, these references throughout will help guide you to the relevant topics. Additionally, you'll see in the back of the training guides a table here that has the full list of topics and objectives, and again, where we cover those topics in our training material listed here as a reference for you as well. So again, as you're prepping for that certification, there'll be lots of references available to you throughout the material to make sure you're preparing on the material that's relevant to those topics. Next up, I've got our CATIA and Pro Engineer product lineup. So for those of you who didn't know, we also do material outside of the Autodesk world. We've been doing Pro Engineer training material for over 15 years and CATIA for about 10 years, so we have quite a history with those. One of the nice things, too, about working with all of these different softwares from the different manufacturers is I'm able to have many of my people cross-trained on the different software versions, the different softwares, so Inventor, CATIA, Pro Engineer. So so they get a good view into what capabilities of all of these products. I think that adds to the quality of our training material in that lessons we learn in one product we're able to apply to others as well. So for CATIA V6 right now, our current revision is R20, and you can see a list of titles here that are all available today. These cover the core design and modeling areas of the software, so you'll see Introduction to Solid Modeling, which is our fundamentals level course, and then we move on into part and assembly design. You'll see surface, drafting, sheet metal, some of the DMU areas, functional tolerancing. So these are all courses that we offer, training guides that we offer today for CATIA V6 R20. You'll see down at the bottom here as well, we started working on CATIA V6, which is the latest version of the software from Dassault. And our Introduction to Modeling course for CATIA V6 is just about completed, so we're hoping to have that out in the next few weeks. So you'll see some announcements about that on our website once we have that ready to release. Similarly, for Pro Engineer and then the recently branded Creo software from PTC, you'll see we have again a full lineup of the core modeling topics here for Pro Engineer Wildfire 5, which also will apply for Creo Elements Pro. So again, you'll see we take you from the fundamentals level on up through the advanced part assembly, to drafting, sheet metal, surface areas. We also do update training courses for these, so anybody who's moving from some of the earlier versions of Pro Engineer up to the Wildfire 5 or Creo Elements Pro versions of the software, we have courses that highlight some of the enhancements and changes in the software along those versions. Down at the bottom here, you'll see we're also working on Creo Parametric 1.0. We're in the, again, final stages of our development on Introduction to Solid Modeling for Creo Parametric 1.0. That's a 5-day course that we're hoping to have out sometime early in the summer, and then we'll continue to release the other titles that you see up above here for Creo Parametric 1.0. And then right after that, we started on Creo Parametric 2.0, which was just released recently by PTC. So again, we'll be updating our material and developing some update training for folks that are moving to that version of the software. And then the final one I want to highlight here is Windchill PDM Link. We recently put together a course on PDM Link 10.0. It's an introduction course for Creo Elements Pro users or folks that are using Pro Engineer Wildfire 5 as well. It would be applicable to, and this will cover the basics of using and working with PDM Link for your data management solution. So that's a course that we've added to, and we'll be updating that for the Creo Parametric software shortly as well. So we'll have additional versions of that course available. And with that, Rhonda, I am going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thanks, Paul. So, as I said, I know that many of you are familiar with our purchasing options and our formats, but for those of you who aren't, I'm going to briefly review those. Our standard format is the hard copy student guide, coil-bound, 8.5 by 11 in size, and if you happen to be outside North America, you'll receive the smaller 7 by 9 version of that book, or of our books. Many of our titles also have a companion set of instructor tools. These are delivered in a PDF format by download and include answers to questions throughout the course, timing information if you're delivering the course, and some of those also do include instructor presentation files with them. A point to note in the current versions of all of our titles this year is that CDs will no longer be included in the hard copy student guides. However, there is a page at the front of each book just after the preface, which includes the web address to download the class files. We started including that page last year to get people used to that, but we just want to make sure you're aware that you do have access to the files you need right within the content of the book itself. Last year, we announced our new eBook format that's delivered through the VitalSource platform, and when you purchase an eBook, you receive a license code that can be downloaded to your computer, as well as an iPad, an iPhone, or an Android device. This is a great option if you want to keep your inventory low or eliminate your shipping costs, or I know sometimes you get a last-minute registration for your class, or you need to turn something around very quickly. Delivery, comes right away, so it's a great option if you have that situation. If you're in a classroom setting delivering a class, you can assign the license codes to your students and use it in your class and then send it, home with them after class to continue using. So once you have it, it's yours to continue using. There's no termination date on that. We also offer digital site licenses. So these are really designed if you're in a situation where you have a high volume and you're doing a lot of training and you're looking to do print on demand yourself. So if you're interested in that program, then please contact us directly for any details for that. And then in other news, we're pleased to note that 13 of our titles were approved by the American Institute of Architects for use with the AIA Passport Provider Program, and that means if you're a registered provider, a registered training center, your students using our courses are eligible to receive continuing education credits through the AIA. So the logo is now included in the Autodesk 2012 titles that you see here. They will be included for the 2013 versions as we release those. And I realize this may be primarily of interest to our North American customers. However, the AIA does have concerns worldwide, so we've included this branding within our books distributed, again, to customers worldwide. And then moving on, beyond the standard courseware that we create and have just been reviewing with you, the development team also offers technical writing services and custom content development. So these are services we can provide for your own requirements, or we can work with you to build curriculum or documentation for your clients. The custom content can be delivered in any of the formats that I just talked about. So if you want to offer a special session on a particular topic or create something specific to your customers' needs, we can modify our existing content, or we can even just start from scratch and create something brand new for you and set it up in the format of your choice. And likewise, if you've authored something and you're looking for a means to distribute that, we'd be certainly happy to talk to you about including your products on our store, so you can contact us about that. And looking ahead, we have a couple of upcoming events, one actually starting next week, which is the National AIA Conference in Washington. And then in mid-June, we'll be at the American Society for Engineering Education down in San Antonio, Texas. So if you happen to be attending either of these, please come by and see us. We will have a booth at both of those conferences in the exhibit area. So again, if you have questions or comments, our contact information is listed here. You can keep up with the latest news on our Twitter feed. If you go to ASCENTED.com, you can get to our blog, and we have posts done regularly by our development team on quite a variety of topics that you probably find very interesting. We do also keep the current release roadmap posted on that home page under featured items, so you want to watch there as we move throughout the year, throughout the release cycles, just to keep up on what's coming down the road. So again, from the ASCENT team, thank you all very much for your time today.